refrain from the prohibited issues, and one is able to continue to do good things at the same level. If this continuity is there, then this means that the fasting of that person in the month of Ramadan was accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after all, what we want is Allah's acceptance, Allah's blessings. So even if you have 1 day fasting, you fast 1 day, Allah accepts it for you. That's the ultimate objective. 1 prayer accepted by Allah is that's ultimate objective. So I therefore would say to those people that maybe because of lack of understanding, or maybe because they are influenced by other cultures, or maybe because they are not being they are not properly taught. Islam is not seasonal. Exactly. Islam is a continuous and comprehensive way of life. The moment from the one you become a Muslim, the process now starts progressively. You understand? Progressively up to the day of judgment. So my advice to those, and not only those that are very serious with the obligatory prayers, and when Ramadan is over, they go back to the natural habit of neglecting them. But my advice to them and to all Muslims,
piling them up, saying that we can always make them up before the end of the night. Exactly.
My advice to them and to all Muslims is that is not the right way. They got it wrong. They got it wrong. And again, the verses that you have just cited, then they have a large number of hadiths and other verses in the Quran, making it very clear that the most important act of ibadah, the most important act of worship after faith is salat. Prayer is the cornerstone or the foundation of Islam as a religion. And that is why in the hereafter it is stated in the prophetic tradition, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the first act of ibadah to be checked will be the prayer on records. And if in the individual's records or file, prayers are checked and they are found to be okay, then the person is definitely bound to pass the difficult test of the day of judgment. It is a very difficult test. It's not like the material exam that we go through in this world. It's a very, very difficult exam. So if prayers are found to be okay, the person everything is going to be okay.
The severity of abandoning prayer itself is one of the actions that could lead one to enter into hellfire.
Exactly.
Like in Surah Mudashir, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ma khalaqakum fi sakar halu lam nakum minal musallin. When they enter hellfire, he's going to ask them why they are there.
Yes.
And that's exactly what they're going to say.
That we were not praying. We were not praying. So it is important, therefore, for us to understand that. And that is why, as an act of ibadah, prayers are never waived. Right. No matter how psychological, no matter how physically weak or feeble the person becomes. And the ulama of Islam says, even if, insofar as the person is with his or her senses, up to a point where the only movement he or she can do will be, let's say, twinkling the eyes, moving the eyes up and down. If that is the only, gesture, physical gesture that you can do to pray, you must do to signify to the fact that you are praying. And then secondly, even where it comes to a point where the person is terribly sick, that he or she cannot move any organ, even the eyes cannot move up and down, it will be obligatory for him to pray in his heart. Ramadan can be waived. Fasting in the month of Ramadan can be waived. Zakat can be waived. Hajj can be waived. But Salat or the prayers are never waived. And they are meant to be performed in a given time, in given times, appropriate times. And the timing is important. The timing, carries significant lessons or messages. First of all, if you are used to praying on time, it disciplines the individual. It makes the individual respect time. It makes the individual respect his duties and obligations. It makes the individual respect appointments. It makes the individual respect his word. And that is why Al-Quran al-Karim says in the Salat or in the Salat al-Kitab al-Maquta, the timing is very important. So not only being regular is what is required, but punctuality too. Pray regularly and punctually, and that was Islam. That is what Islam says. So if we want to do things in accordance with Islam, one must be very, very serious with the prayers in the first instance. And in fact, the reason why Al-Quran says that praying prevents the person from doing evil. Prayer is a process which directly links the individual spiritually with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with his God.
Exactly.
Like people would say, if there was any telephone line between mankind and God, prayer is a direct line. So it automatically links the individual spiritually with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this spiritual linkage that happens 5 times a day in addition to the additional prayers, the nawafil, if it continues permanently, 5 times a day as obligatory prayers, and many more times a day as the nawafil or the additional prayers. If it continues, if it continues for a while or permanently, the individual now becomes directly communicated and permanently, continuously linked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, the only thing that comes to his mind and his heart, or her mind and her heart, will be to try to appease God, to try to apply Allah's teachings as much as one can do. And always, the person will be away from shaitan. And in fact, it serves as a very effective protective shield. In order, it will protect the individual from the reach of Satan, and God forbid, regime. So the benefits are many, spiritually and socially and so on and so forth. So therefore, it is advisable that the way we even though Ramadan is a very unique season, it's a very hectic season, in some of the aspects of the acts of worship that we do, probably you might not be as serious, as punctual, as at the same level we used to be in the month of Ramadan. But let's make our best, let's make good effort to make sure that we continue to be punctual, we continue to be regular, we continue to be God-fearing, we continue to observe all the moral and ethical principles of Islam that this ummah is known for. And it is because of these values that the ummah is clearly distinct from other civilizations.
Okay, during Ramadan, Muslims are also immersed in optional prayers, which are not mandatory, of course. In Surah Bani Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ أَنْ يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. That is, and as for the night, keep awake part of it as an additional prayer, for thee soon thy Lord will raise thee to a station of praise and glory. And there is also a hadith which is said to be narrated by Salman Farisi, may Allah be pleased with him, who says that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, I quote, perform optional prayers, for it was the habit of the righteous people before you. It will bring you nearer to your Lord, atone your bad deeds, prevent you from doing bad deeds, and drive away diseases from your bodies. Based on the surah, based on the verse in the surah that I've just recited, and the authenticity of this hadith, can you further enumerate on the benefits of optional prayers?
Yes, like I said before, praying 5 times daily, continuously, and praying as many times as possible daily, continuously. And because prayer is an act of ibadah, which automatically or directly links the individual spiritually with God. So therefore, the more additional prayer you come, the more you stay on this direct line with God.
With Allah,
you understand? With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Some people just believe after Ramadan is over, it means a closure to optional prayers also, just the mandatory ones, the obligatory prayers.
In fact, some of the additional acts of ibadah, or acts of worship, like the obligatory ones, they are important not only because of the fact that they are, being commanded or being ordered, but because of their timing. You just mentioned tahajjud. Ramadan is important because of the timing. Tahajjud also is important because of the timing. Tahajjud is night prayer. Anytime after, let's say, falling asleep for a while, if you sleep for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you wake up and start praying. That is tahajjud. So tahajjud, that's night prayers. Additionally, and usually it is a very difficult time, because particularly for those of us who spend the whole day, working, by the time you go to bed, you are tired. You are physically strained and exhausted. So for you to sleep 2 hours, 3 hours, wake up again, and start praying is not easy. Even for those of us that are not doing anything, by the time you get into deep sleep, for you to cut it and start praying is very difficult, particularly when the climate is very cold. So it carries a lot of reward. Like the Quran describes it, it gives you special recognition. It gives the individual a special status as far as the relationship between him and God, or between her and God, is concerned. There's a special level of spiritual, how do you call it,